Alright folks, let's get started with some arches. Try my best to lower the volume. Welcome back folks, Dirk the Panda with some arches. Yes, this is the final update of the main story. Supposedly there's some sort of like maybe epilogue, like little short story addition to it, but it's not directly related to this main storyline. I would plan on playing it. I think I am gonna play it. I just want to let you all know that if I don't, I might just be reading on my own time or whatnot. But this is the last of our main arc, and if I don't do the short story, additional epilogue, whatever it's called, then yeah, thank you all for coming along with this journey of mine. And this would be the final episode if this was the case. Lucky number 7, I'd say. 8 updates, 7 episodes. Quite a crazy journey, if I say so myself. And hello to Mastro and anybody else joining in. Thank you for being here. As you can tell also, we have a new layout. I hope they have credits, because I'm forgetting who did it. No. I swear it was Orion, or Illuminan's Siren on Twitter, the GUI kind of, not creator, sorry, but like the GUI type of, you know, expert on a lot of this stuff, I think. I could be wrong. I don't want to miss credit, but yeah, I think the Arches pages would have it, but somebody did come in clutch and do this pretty much, and it was pretty cool. So yeah, it's not the default template anymore. No, I'm not going to do Arches via an ending on Google. And for anybody interested, this is technically update 8 or 0.8.1. I think I just have 0.8. So I will download that right now. Apparently there might be some little bug fixes, maybe? Hopefully I don't miss out on any weird things if by downloading this 8.1 update. What if I do? Gasp. Alright. There we go. Downloading 0.8.1. But coding assistance from Orion. But splash screen and main menus by Gumdrop Studios. I apologize. Gumdrop Studios. Yep, sci-fi horror obsessed according to their bio. But yeah, they also worked on Glory Hounds, so neat stuff. I just don't know if they're a one-man team or if they are like part of everything. Or sorry, one-man team, or if it is an actual like studio team. That's what kind of confuses me. Yeah, they do a bunch of things apparently. My goodness, it's like, I wish there was an about page. There might be, but yeah, cool to see. At least Orion has worked on the project. I was just more sure if it was for coding or whatnot. People are nervous about my reaction too, apparently, so yikes. I just took my Twitter notifications there. I was like looking at those. But yeah, Glory Hound's music is also amazing. I am trying to think of who does the Glory Hounds music. But yeah. I know there's a lot of great background artists too. I have somebody working on some of my backgrounds for Ocean Avenue that has done a couple for Glory Hounds. Jasper's Art Vault. So yeah, just some little tidbits. Oh, happy birthday to your dog. That's super cool. Yeah, doggo birthdays are fun. I already saw the ending. It's satisfying to me. No spoilers, by the way. I wish I could pin, like, I don't know if I can pin posts, pin, like, comments and stuff. Right now, I'm trying to, like, do it here. Might have to do it on the YouTube end. Oh, I can pin. Yeah. Good. No spoilers. In all exclamations. You know I'm serious when I have it all in exclamations. There we go. Right. I think we'll get started in a few seconds. Half a minute. I'm trying to see. I can't see the live timer down there is the tricky part because OBS hates me for some reason and cuts it off. At least on my new computer. We're gonna do it on the half minute instead of the full minute. How unfancy of me. Alrighty then. I'm pretty gosh darn nervous. Oh shoot. Actually I'm not gonna start yet. My brain forgot the update. So please bear with me as I quickly close out this Arches update 0.8 and reopen it with 0.8.1. This will take me a few seconds and I'll leave it up until I like unzip the file that I have. Extract all. Oh, hey, Slow Panda, what's up? Man, crazy to see you and all the other people again. It's been a while since I've streamed on YouTube, I think. I had that whole hiatus. Like, I did Tennis a while back, but just in general. The whole emotions thing. I started streaming on Twitch again, but yeah, this is probably my first time back since that emotional whatever for me. If you didn't know, I just kind of got a bit overwhelmed with stuff over the past few weeks emotionally and just needed to take my own hiatus break to kind of recover, you know, recharge the batteries. Had some worries about my writing and other creation stuff. I had worked on a 3D model that I had showed off on Twitch. It's on my second channel, Dirk's Dorky Things, if you want to see the VOD. Yeah, not much else other than that. And here we go. A 2-second pause as I quit out of that and reopen Arches with this. Hopefully the saves do not get broken. There we go. Bam. Okay. So, yeah, I guess other than that, I've been doing okay lately. It's just been something where I'm not sure if it was just seasonal or if it was partly because of work adding more stuff for me to figure out and do. I had to basically, yeah, just kind of reevaluate things and just figure out what do I stand for. Like that song by Fun from like 2013. God, I feel dated. All right. Now we'll start in the minute. On the minute, 14 minutes. Here we go. A 10-minute introduction. Not bad for a Dirk stream. But yeah, I don't want any spoilers. And yeah, besides that, I'm just, you know, people might be mixed emotions on it. I have not seen it beforehand, so I'm kind of a bit worried. I'm hoping, like, the last update kind of... obviously, I could spoil that because we just played that, and if you're watching the playlist, we'll be, you know, right here from that. But I was worried that Cameron died because of the whole, you know, Brian shooting. It was like, did it happen? Did it not? Did Brian die? It was such a weird moment, so... yeah, here we go. let's start. This is where we left off. What has happened? Let's find out. Alright. Now let's get the hell out of here. Oh my god, the arch. Whew. That's so cool. So Panda, do not spoil it for yourself if you want to see the whole thing. Once again, playlist on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out and catch yourself up. Otherwise, feel free to chill here and yeah. I'm not your mom. Alrighty. The terrible change comes almost exactly 3 weeks later. Cameron had been feeling strange ever since they got back home. Like he wasn't quite himself. After a flurry of hospital visits, police interviews, and even harassment from the media, things had become strangely quiet. He's a broken road. Brian DuBois was a serial killer with a victim count in the double digits, with all the murders taking place over the course of nearly 4 decades. That would get national attention, of course, especially since Brian appeared to be involved in the high-profile disappearance of a college freshman last year. The body cam footage of their dramatic rescue from the mines even made the rounds on social media. Of course, for about 2 days. At the same time, a pandemic was picking up steam, and media attention focused there instead. Cameron didn't mind. That lack of attention made his recovery much easier. His burst liver and severely damaged kidney had left him needing surgery. The hospital did what they could for his elbow, and his doctors were hopeful that with a lot of physical therapy, he could at least use it for basic necessities. While it did suck to maybe never be able to bend his elbow correctly, or without pain, what really devastated Cameron was the weakness and near maddening tingling in his pinky and ring finger. So for now, despite him being eager to get back to it, guitar was an absolute no. For now. But what about forever? On top of that, Cameron had been trying to banish that damn voice from his head. No, the negative thoughts from his head. Right? Oh, thanks, Maestro. Just a flashback. One of those shitty leftovers from his shroom trip. Either way, all he could do was try to ignore it, despite it making himself known at least once a day. Cameron. Cameron, something's wrong. But things continued to feel strange. It didn't seem to be related to his ESP, because he could easily tell when that was happening. Ever since the shroom trip, a haze of psychic ability lingered around him, allowing him to capture thoughts and feelings seemingly at random. Downloading is what some people like him like to call it. He didn't have much control, though. Sometimes he wasn't able to tell if the download he was receiving was from the living or the dead. Cameron even began to try and hone his abilities and experiment with just how much he could do. What he quickly figured out was that without some sort of illicit substance, his clairvoyance lacked a great deal of fuel that had powered his abilities in Echo. That would make it easier, so would being an active location like Echo, of course. Echo was one of those locations, though, obviously, but there are so many others. He's a desert lake. Every now and then, Cameron would find himself pausing, like the back door of Devon's house, as a chill would run down his spine. That feeling always meant an echo was all attached to something, somewhere nearby. That's what Cameron called the beings. Not exactly intelligent or even living, but entities that interacted with and usually threatened the living. In that particular case, it emanated from under the back porch. When he told Devin about it, the bear knew immediately what Cameron was talking about.
Oh, yeah. I'd heard something moving under there all the time, like a person crawling around. Even Dad says he saw red eyes under there once.
Being more sensitive doesn't exactly answer questions, though. Like, why is it there? Where did it come from? What the hell is it? All he knows is that it's not a person, and it never was a person. Because they're all demons. And while Cameron had seen that old spark of interest in Devin's eyes, he had told Cameron to just ignore it and focus on their visit. For now. Devin just wanted everything to go away quietly, like it never happened. That included Cameron's abilities. That was at the end of the second week. And over the course of his life, Cameron would look back on that visit as one of the last times he was truly himself. He's a trailer home in the Southwest. By the third week, Cameron was recovering at a remarkable rate, and so Devin began to pay Artie more visits and phone calls. Oh, didn't know Artie made it. Arturo's improvement was also rapid, but Cameron was left feeling a little sad that Artie never asked to talk to him, and would only ask Devin how the coyote was holding up. It made sense, he would tell himself. Devin and Artie go back further than even Devin and himself did. Sure, something had felt off, but considering the circumstances, nothing was normal at that time. But as the third week progressed, what had been bubbling below the surface made itself fully known. The only thing that seemed to be getting back to normal were his dreams. Sometimes he'd still wake up whimpering or crying, thinking he was back in Echo. Devin had it far worse, waking up in a howling panic, yelling about guns, chains, and death. Those were the times that Cameron did his best to give comfort and support, at least as best as his patched up and sore body could manage. But now, with some time between him and what happened, Cameron feels like a part of him is missing. Like he's not fully present. It's like pieces of him litter the town at his trauma. It felt like he was still there in a way. And when that feeling really started to set in, that's when it happened. A small pressure in his right ear started to develop. It was something that he was sure had to do with the hearing loss he'd experienced from the sudden blast of the gunshot. From the shotgun. It was irritating and felt bizarre. They had set up another appointment with Cameron's audiologist a few weeks from then. The hearing loss was likely permanent, but then something began to replace it. Right in the middle of the afternoon. April 2020. Cameron starts working again that week. He wants to feel useful again, and because they're both working from home now, it seems like a reasonable idea. Devin didn't want him starting yet, of course, but Cameron wants that sense of normalcy to come back faster, and his shitty job had to seem like the perfect solution. Trying to work with mostly one pod does come as a bigger challenge than Cameron had expected, without realizing how much he used his non-dominant one. Typing is particularly slow, but he was getting better at managing it. Still, it makes him sluggish, and even though his boss is understanding, even telling him to just forward any rude customers her way, it still leaves him occasionally flustered in ways he isn't used to. After a rather harsh call that begins with, "Thank God, someone I can finally fucking understand," that ends with, "You know what would have been faster?" Cameron waits for the answer. "Anything! This is the last time I buy some jank-ass phone made in some shit factory!" Cameron rubs his eyes, wondering how different the interactions would be if they did face-to-face video calls. This phone was actually assembled in the States after Julian pledged... Oh god, I'm thinking of was it Julian or whatever? The discount Chinese phone or whatever it was. It's not the answer the man wants to hear. I totally gave him a feminine voice. Whoops. It's not the answer the man wants to hear. Cameron can tell before he even gets cut off. "Transfer me to your superior, please." Of course. One moment. As Cameron reaches for the button to his boss's line, he hears the man muttering under his breath. "They know they hired retards for the customer service." Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Click. That's a word I haven't heard in a while. No big deal. He would get one of those every week, and according to his coworkers, it's gotten worse since the pandemic started. But why did that one hurt his feelings so badly, to the point that his eyes are welling up with tears? Maybe it's because he went through hell and back, and that man has no idea. No idea. Then, his computer screen seemed to stretch far away, and Cameron finds himself grabbing the edge of his desk like he's about to fall over. Pressure grows in his right ear, and he realizes that maybe that's what's causing the strange feeling of being off balance as the world tilts. But no, he's tripping again. It's a flashback. Just a flashback. No, it's brain damage. You'll probably feel this forever. Brian poisoned you. Cameron holds very still, positive he didn't think those thoughts just now. You are fucking... Can't handle a literal customer stereotype? Just smash the keyboard and admit you can't work anymore. Cameron brings a paw up to his right ear, where the voice came from. Is his headset still on, or... No. And you could tell it's coming from inside your head, you idiot. You stupid fuck. Worthless. After that, Cameron remembers very little except panic, followed by confusion. A ton of confusion. His thoughts make no sense. The voice that is definitely not his thoughts doesn't make sense. Now he doesn't understand where he is. The voice continues to encourage him to smash the keyboard. So he does, just to see if maybe it will break this bizarre half-dream. I actually didn't break the keyboard. Devin, in his own study, hears this. After finding Cameron sobbing on the ground, surrounded by black plastic keycaps and bleeding from reopened stitches, a frantic Devin drives him to the hospital. Maybe I'll stop if you grab the wheel and turn into the median. For old time's sake. And he doesn't even need a fucking fan. Look, Mom, no fans. The voice snickers. It continues to laugh at him all the way to the psychiatric ward. October 2020. About 7 months after Echo, and 6 months after his episode, Cameron feels worse than he did right after Echo. The voice that had wormed its way into his damaged ear had disappeared after just a few days of antipsychotic treatment, but it returned again and again, every few days. Whenever something upset him, whenever he gets into arguments with Devin, and really whenever it pleases, it makes itself known. It comes in a deep, masculine voice, though sometimes it's Brian-like in how it taunts and laughs at him. Short asides that were sometimes mean, sometimes meaningless, and sometimes boring. All about the things Cameron would do and the people he would see. It feels like it's trying to remind Cameron things aren't okay as weeks continue to come and go with manageable but clearly present psychotic symptoms. He had worried his broken arm would stop him from being able to play music as well as he used to. Turns out, he didn't have to worry about that at all, because he doesn't give a fuck anymore. Like a switch, his interests, his motivation, his want to do anything productive or useful seem to just turn off. His thought process had been wrecked, and the disorganized thought during his episodes became present even when he wasn't having one. His mother said she needed meth because it fought the feelings that her psychosis brought on, which was brought on by the meth. A vicious cycle. And speaking of which, he finally got his diagnosis. Schizophrenia, likely induced by the trauma and drug use in Echo. Not that it really matters what induced it, because the problem is that he has it. There's no taking that back, after all. Propranolol for restlessness from... Oof, this is going to be a tough one for me. Propranolol for restlessness from akathisia. Escitalopram for depression. Trazodone for sleep and depression. Topiramate for weight control. Guanfacine for tics. And PTSD. And clonazepam for as needed for anxiety and panic attacks. His head tilts to the right before coming back up in a sort of twitching movement. Twice. The symptoms of schizophrenia are devastating enough, but so are the side effects of the antipsychotics that treat it. Side effects that are covered up by medications that cause even more side effects, which in turn are maybe more tolerable. The first antipsychotic he tried made him too tired, and he was finally switched after 4 months. for me, it wasn't an antipsychotic. I think it was general depression, anxiety stuff. But yeah, I had my first like type of medication like that made me too tired, and I switched. Then another one caused, yeah, it's like the third time was the charm for me. But even still, it's like, nothing's perfect. This is definitely a good allegory for medications and mental health stuff. That is going to be another trigger warning. So apologies to, anybody who sees it. I am going to add that to the title. Mental health / psychosis. But the first antipsychotic he tried made him too tired, and he was finally switched after 4 months. This switch aggravated the dopamine in his brain, according to his last psychiatrist, and for some reason, this meant that his childhood motor and vocal tics got to come back. Not just come back, but they came back with a vengeance, to the point that when he got especially emotional, his neck and sometimes his body would go into an uncontrollable twitching fit. At least he could hide it, or at the very least control it when he was younger. It makes him feel like some kind of freak show in public. His vocal tics would come up at the worst moments, and talking to anyone other than Devin would result in awful humiliations that sometimes triggered psychosis again. But when a vocal tic involving his diaphragm appeared, one that he never had before, Cameron really began to despair. It would force him to exhale for 10 to 15 seconds before holding it until he nearly blackened out. Then it would release, and he would gasp for air again, vision coming back through blurry tears, only for it to happen half a dozen more times in agonizing waves. It was so distressing that each time it happened, it triggered an episode, and he'd be left with so many tics happening at once that even Devin couldn't communicate with him. The familiar tightening of his abdomen signaling the approach of another episode was enough to make him whine and cry in dread. All of this because of that damn pill that's supposed to help him. 3 or 4 of those vocal episodes every day for a week, and Devin had finally had enough and found a different psychiatrist. This helped a great deal, and Cameron had found himself trusting her far more than he ever did with his first psychiatrist. She immediately switched him to another antipsychotic, one that she said would help his tics too. Still, when Cameron had been readying himself to take his first dose, he broke down and he cried like a child. He even begged Devin not to make him take it, which just made the whole situation so much worse. What if it caused more problems to show up? What if it made him worse? Cameron read about all the horrible, lifelong side effects that antipsychotics can cause. Dyskinesia, akathisia, dystonia, catatonia, and his old childhood bane that had almost been forgotten about. Tourette's syndrome. The word tardive can be placed in front of any of those symptoms, which means that even if you stop taking the drug, and even if years go by, the symptoms lingers. And then there's always the worry that tolerance might build. Supersensitivity might set in, and the dosage might need to be increased, and then he might develop a treatment-resistant form of schizophrenia. All from these little pills, wreaking havoc on those synapses of his brain. More poison, more brain damage. Cameron rubs his right ear vigorously. You're the brain damage asshole.
Fuck you, you brain damaged piece of shit. Why don't you take the whole battle, pathetic? Think you could just talk to me like that, fucker?
Remembering the management techniques his therapist taught him, Cameron takes a deep breath. Okay, time to take my medication. It's been a few weeks now. My tics have decreased by over half, and I haven't had a breathing tic in 4 days. I feel like this is good progress. What I think is positive symptoms have decreased by maybe 40% over the last week. Good progress. I just hope my negative symptoms improve as well. That's my next goal once I reach stability. His thoughts are his own again, and that makes Cameron feel at least a little bit better knowing that some things are coming easier. He begins opening his pill organizer and pulls out the most important one. His psychiatrist had been right, and, for once, Cameron feels like they might have at least found the right road to the new him. Despite tolerating paliperidone much better than the last antipsychotic, it still causes the same side effects that make him need to take all the other meds. At least it's making his tics better. Though he doubts they will ever truly go away like they did in his childhood. Tardive Tourette's syndrome. Devastating on its own, but still controllable, manageable with time. He has to believe that. As the sound of pills rattling against plastic seems to echo through the kitchen, Cameron hears Devin in his study.
Oh, you taking them now? Just a sec.
That was fast. Cameron mutters under his breath, feeling just a little resentful knowing that Devin had been listening in on his thinking out loud technique. Those were not candy, Slow Panda. Give you a hint, they were just mentioned a sentence or two ago. Cameron sighs and picks up the pill again, staring at it closely, as if able to see its molecular structure, engineered to block the dopamine receptors in his brain. The root cause of psychosis, at least at the molecular level. It's more complicated than that. It always is. Devin comes in with just his underwear on. Sorry, I had to. A year ago, it would have been a sight that Cameron would have appreciated. He probably would have put his arms around him and rubbed his face into his chest like he used to. But his sex drive was killed months ago, either from meds or from one of the many symptoms of schizophrenia. And it's just another reminder that he's not who he used to be. While sex is the last thing on his mind, Cameron knows it's important in their relationship. He occasionally would force himself to do it and pretend to enjoy it. But everything aches now, and in the end, he'd find himself staring at the ceiling. Devin noticed and eventually suggested that they wait until Cameron feels better, until he actually wanted himself, which only made Cameron feel worse. Devin's libido is stronger than Cameron's ever was, so he knows it must be sexually frustrating for the bear. But right now, Devin is just standing there, smiling pleasantly as he watches Cameron.
Making sure you take your poison. He wants your brain damaged more than it already is. A jolt of fear, a dip into unreality. Cameron feels angry at how easily the voice slipped into his thoughts again. Useful poison. Cameron winces at the crazy coming out of his mouth.
Sorry, just thinking out loud. It's if that's what you're wondering.
Okay, that's good. Remember, it does seem to act up right before you take your medication, so don't worry about it too much.
Yeah. You know I don't need you to watch me anymore. It's quiet as Cameron swallows the pill, angling himself so that Devin can see, then follows it with the rest of the 5 or so pills he holds in his paw. Cameron finishes swallowing those, knowing that in an hour, he won't be able to keep his eyes open. Right. Or do you still not trust me?
No, I agree with you, but we also agreed I'd do it for at least a year, just in case. Even if you said you were fine, remember?
Cameron hates the fact that he's right. Yeah. Because you don't trust me. Spitefully, Cameron turns to show Devin the underside of his tongue, as if the bear might be suspicious he's hiding it.
Cameron.
You want to do a cavity search too? Hey, maybe that can be our solution. I take my meds and you get to play with my ass. Cameron feels the burst of anger from Devin, and for some reason, it feels good.
That's kind of a fucked up thing to say, don't you think? Is that what you think I even care about right now?
Devin's already sounding angry, quicker than he usually does, and suddenly they're in a fight. The ones they never had before Echo. Things must be getting extra stressful for Devin if it's that easy to provoke him, and Cameron should do something to help him, to soothe him, but instead, he wants this fight. For a moment, he even wants Devin to hit him.
Kill him. Grab one of the knives.
To punch him right in the face and end everything as they know it. Not much for them to lose anyway. Why are you all of a sudden intent on me taking my meds? Pretty different from college, right?
This is so different, Cameron. I know I talked shit on psychology before. I acted like I knew what it was about. But like you say, everyone changes.
It's because I'm a problem to you now, and you just want me to take what'll make me not crazy, even if it makes me feel like shit.
I want you to get better.
I'm not going to get better, Devin. This is permanent.
It doesn't mean that you can't get better. That's the point.
That's the point. Then I'll relapse.
If you relapse, we help you get better again.
I don't even care about that stupid voice anymore. Or even the tics.
Fuck you, I'll make you care, like you piece of shit.
But if it feels like my soul has been sucked out, and I don't know if it's the meds, or the crazy, or just me, but I hate it.
I hate it too. I hate it so much. I hate that you feel this way. That's why I'm doing this.
But you don't even have a fucking clue what this is like. Everyone just talks about the voices, the hallucinations, delusions, but what about the cognitive shit? I can't think. Nothing feels real, and I feel dead.
You're right. I don't. But you're all I think about almost every minute of the day because I see you suffer, and I want to stop it. Eyes, idiot. Fucking hurt and kill him.
I'm probably suffering because of the meds. It's like back in college, but 10 times worse. I can't write or even listen to music anymore. I don't want to do anything.
Come on, Cameron. This is the main reason people relapse. Their positive symptoms go away. They think they're better. Then they stop their meds so the negative symptoms aren't as bad. And then they relapse. You need time. A year at least. And maybe then we could start tapering off. But not now.
And what if I do relapse? It's like only half of schizophrenics that even achieve a fully 10-year remission.
Medical literature he obsessed over pours out of his mouth. Shitty quality of life, up to 30 years off the average life expectancy. Incurable. Then we'll try again. Right? A burst of anxiety from Devin. While Cameron never thought hard on what he might do, he does suppose he'd consider ending it. If this is how the rest of his life will play out, he's sure he will. Eventually. But only when Devin isn't here to take that blow. Hates you. Wants you to die. The voice continues to talk, and Cameron rubs his ear, trying to ground himself. Right. The obvious signs of Cameron having an episode seems to bring Devin back down as well. The bear quickly hugs Cameron. I'm sorry. Despite his sore and sensitive skin, it feels good after hours after the burst of anger and sadness. I'm just sad. I'm sad because I had such a good life with you. And it feels worse like it was just yesterday and it's just gone now. It's strange that he can remember his past life so vividly. The feeling of being mostly normal in his brain. Devin squeezes him tighter. You always talk about the new you, and how we just have to wait for him to get here. We'll have a new life. It'll just be a rough couple of months. Maybe a bit longer. Cameron sniffles. What day is it anyway? Like the 15th? The 24th, I think. I forgot that your birthday was last week. I just remembered now. Devin laughs. Honestly, me too. Are the years going to keep going? The hardest thing about that particular argument for Devin was that he completely empathized with Cameron. He can't imagine being in that situation, made to take medication that changes him so fundamentally that he's not in full control of his movements, or even his breathing. The coyote is justified in being angry, sad, childish, and sometimes outright spiteful. That doesn't mean that it's unsettling, or that isn't unsettling seeing that Cameron lash out and cry in ways Devin had never seen him come close to before. At points, it feels like he's watching the deconstruction of a life in real time. It leaves his stomach feeling hollow and sick, like it did days after Brian had a go at it.
The thought of the old bear makes Devin so angry that now he wishes that the man was still alive. At least then there'd be a chance for him to try and knock out a few more of his teeth in during court, or to knock out a few more of his teeth in court during the victim impact statement or something. And the stress continues to build as Cameron's condition remains unstable. The transfer was scheduled for November, and Devin is trying to type up an extremely apologetic and professional email to explain the situation, and also request a possible video meeting to delay the transfer. It's a reasonable request, especially considering the state of the world at the moment. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, his breathing picks up speed. Confused, Devin watches as the edges of his vision begin to darken. He can't figure out why he suddenly feels as if he's going to pass out. The first thing that comes to Devin's mind is Arturo's older brother who died of a pulmonary embolism after a surgery. The one that already talked about casually while high, even though Devin knows he's still devastated by it. Devin stands up from his desk, walking, then sinking to the ground as the room spins. Camp! I need help, please! I can't! Before he could stop himself, he blurts out Cameron's name, simultaneously questioning whether that's a good idea or not. Cameron seeing his boyfriend die in front of him won't exactly help his mental state, so it's better that he's probably sleeping like a rock right now. He pulls out his phone as he's on his knees, having pressed the 911 before very groggy, sedated Cameron comes in, his expression of bleary confusion turning to fear. Don't worry, I just can't catch my fucking breath. A look of recognition comes over the coyote's face and, kneeling in front of Devin, he presses the bear's head against his chest. Devin, it's okay. We're okay. Breathe with me. Devin, not sure if that's what's the problem, but after just a few seconds, it stops. Are you okay? I've never seen you like that before. Devin sees Cameron's neck tick twitch multiple times, and he immediately feels like an idiot. Here he is, having a stupid, breathless panic attack, while Cameron is having vocal tics that force him to almost pass out from not being able to breathe. Devin tries to get him to go back to bed, but Cameron sleeps on the sofa in the study, determined to be there if Devin needs him again. While Devin feels like he should be the one doing the comforting right now, he is glad to have Cameron there. So that's what the coyote feels like when he's panicking. A scary moment, but Devin doubts he'll let the feeling sneak up on him again, now that he's familiar with it. He had considered therapy and medication, like he's constantly trying to find for Cameron, but a part of him has to admit that he's scared too. Besides, he's not bad enough he needs that help. Sorry, just thinking. He'll settle on what always helped him deal with stress in the past, which is being active. Exercise will be good for both of them, actually. Once he sends this email, he'll figure out how to renew both of their gym memberships, assuming the place is still even open. Devin steps out of the gym, taking a deep breath of the frigid February air. Speaking of which, should probably hydrate too. Sorry, I'm just gonna pause for a bit at 58:45. We'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Here we go. Just gonna switch back over. Had to double check on something. Here we are. And we'll start in half a minute, just as I get everything reconfigured. I do not need to pee right now. I think I did just before the stream. I just hydrated. Maybe I'll pee after next break. Weird question. But okay. We're gonna start in 5 seconds. And we continue. Devin steps out of the gym, taking a deep breath of the frigid February air. There aren't many cars or people on the street, not this early on a Saturday morning. Probably because they're sleeping in like they should be. Devin instinctively begins to reach out for Cameron's paw. But he's not there. He hasn't been there for a while now. Almost a year. Well, what he used to be is there, at home, in the urn sitting on Cameron's old dresser, along with all the coyote's other little possessions that Devin had kept. Holy shit. It hurts even more because he's almost certain that Cameron would have loved this city. He would do a better job remembering that Cameron isn't right next to him if... Quit thinking about me like I'm dead. I'm not. I'm thinking about you like you're physically gone. Thinking about you like you're physically gone. I do miss being physically present. I guess I could be dead, but it doesn't really matter. You're not dead. I'm just like your vessel now. That is such a creepy word. Just say I'm like your passenger. By the way, you reek. It's Saturday, so I don't have work. Besides, I'm not taking a shower when the air dryer temperature is room temperature. I mean, I didn't say it like that. It's from a fresh workout. Devin grunts as he makes his way through the parking lot towards his car. You were pushing yourself really hard, to be honest. Take it easier next time. Taking it easy is what you got. Taking it easy is what got you hurt. Anyway, the more echoes we can kill off, the better. I doubt we can have that much of an impact, Devin. This shit is old. Ancient, even. It's a lot bigger than us in a lot of different ways. I just want to see how well this works out. If it can be done, maybe we could tell others about it. Start a movement. To kill off haunted places at the source? But how many people have their dead boyfriend in their head giving them psychic abilities? Well, I won't tell them that part. Just the psychic part. Ah, gonna take credit for my abilities? Hey, I'm learning to fight too. You see how much I've been bulked up? Devin flexes his muscles underneath his winter coat and padding, muscles he wishes he'd had when he'd fought Brian. I didn't know you can punch ghosts, and I wish you'd get a different coach. He beats on you way too hard. I knew what I was getting into. Anyway, remember about the source. Usually it's some shitty person feeding those places. Oh, well.
Punching real people sounds worse, actually.
Either way, this is all a good workout. You should try. Devin catches himself halfway through saying it. Even though he knows it's coming, or even though he tries to stop it, the imagery of Cameron's ruined face flashes through his mind. He should just be happy that the coyote is still talking to him. That he's still with him. Kind of. I miss you.
Please don't do that, Devin. I'm right here.
I want to hold you.
You basically are. And I'm giving you a big emotional hug right now. I might also be feeling out your muscles too, because you've bulked up nicely.
Devin laughs and wipes his eyes. Thanks, Cam. Cameron watches all of this, but not that Cameron in Devin's head. The Cameron that avoided the shotgun, that survived. He's had these dreams a few times. At first, he simply thought them to be traumatic nightmares from a traumatic event. But this is one of those dreams that feels so real, he almost can't tell if he's dreaming. They're not really nightmares either. Usually they're mundane, kind of funny, kind of sad. The dreaming Cameron, for some reason, doesn't trust this passenger Cameron at all. This version of himself feels off, almost like there isn't even a soul to go with him. Otherwise, he sounds and acts just like he does, or did, before the diagnosis. It makes him wonder if he'd trade off given the opportunity. Cameron isn't waking up, so with little else to do, he reaches out mentally and digs into this other Cameron a bit deeper. What he sees lasts only a second. After tearing out Brian's throat, this Cameron immediately began communicating with Devin. It's not an illness, not like what Cameron has, but it's still Echo. It's part of that town, and Cameron doesn't want this Devin to... Devin, he's back. Feeling difficult to describe comes over Cameron. It's something from that dead Cameron, the entity that acts and talks like Cameron. The thing that's actually currently attached to Devin. The thing that's currently attached to Devin. He's tied up, bound with rope, with a foul-tasting rag gagging him. The big bear has been gone for over an hour, but no matter how hard he tries, he can't make the zip ties and chains move. And then, his stomach turns, and the meal Brian had bought him out at the bar starts to come back up. He's going to throw up, but he's chained down on his back with a gag in his mouth. He's going to throw up, and then he's going to drown. Vomit floods his mouth. Cameron leaps out of bed, one paw over his muzzle. He stubs his toe horrifically on the doorframe to the bathroom, bending back the cloth so that it's left bleeding and almost ripped out. But he makes it to the toilet in time to retch up the small amount of whatever is in his stomach. His name was Alan, a rat, Cameron thinks, but the coyote can't remember the last name. The last name of the man who drowned in his own vomit. Cameron sobs, both for himself and for the poor young rat that lived a short, hard life only for it to end by choking on that shitty food Brian lured him in with. After a minute, the coyote calms down and listens, thankful that Devin is an incredibly heavy sleeper. What he'd seen definitely happened, even though the police stopped trying to interview him after learning about his schizophrenia diagnosis. He would still put in an anonymous tip tomorrow. Cameron knows there is at least twice as many victims that the police know about, and he plans to report every single one that he sees. Half a year later, Cameron finally starts to feel as if he's starting to live life again. Not his old life, but a new, unfamiliar one. Tapering down his meds along with exercising definitely helped. Which is why he came here with Devin to visit Arturo. When he sees his old friend, he feels a bit better, just based on the shape of his amalgamation. It's a bit more full, and while it's still damaged, it's also at peace. Cameron knows that feeling. Also, I'm probably going to read that theory after, or feel free to repost it later when we're done with the full thing, because I'm going to keep going. But he's different now, and he's accepted that. But he's still Arturo, which the cat has come to accept too. He's just different now. Changed. Like everyone changes. A terrible, dramatic change, but one that can happen to anyone. Things always tend to get worse, but then they tend to get better too. And Cameron knows this just by looking at Arturo. While the coyote did just want to see his old friend, he also wanted to know a few other things. His methods are morally questionable, but he justifies it since he's tired of being kept in the dark. An hour before they got there, Cameron eats a piece of chocolate from the backpack he brought for their stay at a motel. Devin complains when Cameron says that it was the last one, but the coyote knows that Bear would lose his mind if he knew what Cameron exactly did. And that was microdosing psilocybin. Stupid, idiotic, unbelievable when it could cause him severe, lasting damage. Idiot. It might have been what triggered his schizophrenia, but his abilities increased tenfold even on this tiny amount. Besides, it made him feel better. Of course, he'll tell Devin when more time has passed, but the bear has shown almost zero interest in the paranormal as of late. Maybe he'll just tell him he's taking it for the mood lift. For now, he just wants to take in the emotions and conversation. Well, what I'm trying to do is get rid of this damn limp. That's what people know this most. If I'm not talking. Cameron smiles pleasantly despite the fact that Arturo is more guarded and fortified mentally than anyone else he's met, which is the last thing he had expected. Oh, I'm reading the shirts first. Psychology, or what's it? Psychological safety, love, loving, esteem, and then self. Oh, it is the Maslow or whatever hierarchy of needs. I forgot the guy's name, but yeah, the hierarchy of needs. But yes, it was the last thing he had expected. Actually, didn't even notice. Ah, well, you will next time you see me walk. Anyway, I hear you're working on your masters, Devin? Every stutter, every struggle feels like a physical blow to Cameron, but he tries to not show it. He knows Artie doesn't want useless pity right now, and Cameron always hated it too.
Yep, at the University of Deseret. Sweet. In what? Mechatronics or robotics? Oh, of course. And how's that, how's that progressing? Good. Just finished my first semester. And the place you're working at, they're financing it? That's really quick. I'm at the same company. It was always part of the plan once we moved. I still gotta graduate from them to reimburse my tuition, though. No pressure.
I don't know how he does it all. Work, school, cooking, gaming? And you're good at all of it.
That's just like him. He'd party and drink the night before a final, then ace it while hungover.
Cameron is close enough to Devin to see the skin flush under his fur. While some might find Devin to be overly humble, it has more to do with a sort of imposter syndrome. Cameron knows it must be awkward to be praised for not having to study or work as hard as his fellow students and coworkers. Despite that, Cameron still feels proud knowing his boyfriend is already inching into a leadership position at the company. He has no doubt the bear will be doing incredible things in his career.
So, how are things going for you? What are you doing these days? Weren't you thinking about going back to work at that specialized school?
Yep, Spectrum Solutions Academy, and I'm already back. Went back as soon as I got vaccinated. Still an RBT, working with kids with low functioning autism. That's actually kind of interesting that they mentioned the functioning for autism. Like, it's kind of a weird topic to talk about because it's still like an ongoing debate of if we should use it, because the term of functioning, like, I could go back in the history and mention how it was originally used by Asperger or like related type of diagnoses and whatnot to kind of differentiate a person's, obvious functionalness, but functionality in terms of them, I guess, being a productive member of society in a sense, kind of your typical, can they work, live on their own type of things. But the original origins of that come from, World War II and whatnot with, the camps. I don't want to expand on it, but yeah, it comes in like those types of ordinance. But going forward, it's like kind of that debate of, does it devalue somebody that is more low functioning, or what is low functioning if somebody is mute but can still, perform certain tasks, or it's like if they're really good at robotics or whatnot, but they're not very they can't socialize, or a lot of things like that, or they can't live on their own, or certain deeds. Like, it's a very gray area. Like, I know this, like, being autistic and having the constant telling of me being like, you were used to be moderate to severe, like I was told about growing up, and how I'm more classified now as low functioning. It was a kind of a journey growing up. It's good when you get diagnosed early, but at the same time, it can, nowadays we definitely know a lot more, but in the initial days, it's kind of harder being diagnosed earlier, in that, tactics or techniques may have not been refined enough to maybe account for things that could be potentially traumatic, in like either imposter syndromes or hard masking in ways, or this kind of, there are a couple of things I could go into, but I really appreciate though them talking about this, because I think Bugbear might be streaming tonight, but Bugbear Vigs on Twitch has talked about working with kids with special needs, to at least they've mentioned stories about this on Twitch, so it's not me like doxing or anything. They've actually, done stuff, but it's a very noble cause, and my mom's worked with kids with special needs, so a big thing in our family to know about, and yeah, you're always learning new things about it. Exactly. It's quite a. I should probably be a little less sad now, but yeah. It's definitely a quite interesting thing. Like, I'm not an expert on it because I never went to like school for it or anything. Like, I've taken like the basic psychology, biopsych type course. Well, basically just 2 courses in total, but yeah. So I don't have the expert knowledge, but I'm just going off of that and my personal experiences growing up and the various social skills and therapy and what peers around me had for diagnoses and stuff. Sorry, that was just a big rant I had about this because it's like the functioningness, it's like, I guess it, in a sense, people imagine when it talks about low versus high functioning as like, it's just one singular bar of do you not function or do you function like low function? It's like, do you function low or do you function high? Sorry, I didn't mean to say I'm low functioning autism, but I'm high functioning. The diagnosis was moderate to severe autism, but now it's like, I don't know if they say like light or, basically like not like a high severity. But yeah, it does hit pretty close to home with that. Yeah. But yeah, nowadays we're starting to realize that it's not just a low to high bar. It's, the various, it's kind of like the wheel of things. Like, are you like high in this, low in like, this socialization? Do you have these certain like emotional range? Do you have these sort of like kind of quirks to things, sensitivities, a hyper, sensitivity? There's like, I forget how many things that could be, but there's at least, you could kind of do like a 6 or 8, like that type of like circle test where it bounces. Yeah, sorry. We'll get back into this. Sorry, this was just the longest thing we ranted about, and I just had to get that off my mind. But I'm really glad to see the representation of that and normalizing. But yes, Spectrum Solutions Academy, and I'm already back. Went back as soon as I got vaccinated. Still an RBT, working with kids with low functioning autism. How is it? Great. It was almost like going back home. I'm supposed to have like 2 clients, but they've got about 5 on me now. They were so happy to see me, but they could tell something's a bit off about me though. Sounds a bit rough. Is your recovering still going well? Artie visibly draws into himself a bit. I like to call it the process these days. Most of the recovery is over, I think. Oh, I see. It's silent for just a second too long. Cameron's slow response is mainly due to being distracted, having finally deciphered Artie's general thoughts, feelings, and emotions. In that moment, that guard had slipped, and Cameron realizes Artie knows he's psychic. Of course, he told him that, but now he enjoys it, truly believes it, and for the past almost 2 years, he'd realized how much of this happened because of Cameron. Arturo is afraid of Cameron. The cat senses the strangeness, the offness of who Cameron is now. Arturo also wonders if it's possible that the coyote brought a piece of Echo into the house with him. That shadow entity, it entered him and never came back out as far as Arturo knows. Who's to say it's not still... Maybe it's like... management phase. That's what Cam calls it. Anyway, right, honey? Devin, probably confused by the tension, tries to add more to the conversation. That's right. That piece of shit hurt you pretty badly too, huh? Yeah, really, it's the schizophrenia I was diagnosed with afterwards that I'm still trying to manage. Cameron suddenly decides to just tell Arturo about his own struggles, if only to look for some sympathy, understanding. It seems unfair not to tell him, for some reason, anyway. For a moment, Arturo's expression becomes one of genuine sadness.
Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that, Cameron. Was it from what happened? I hope it wasn't the weed that...
No, I think it's what happened after that to push me over the edge.
Oh, I see. That makes sense. Do they think it would have happened anyway, eventually?
Cameron shrugs. Maybe. They think I might have been they think I might have been in a prodromal state. Is that how you say it? Prodromal? What the heck? Prodromal? Maybe. They think I might have been in a prodromal state for years. It's obvious I think I was on the brink for a while. But he'll never know. For that moment, though, he feels like he and Artie have made a connection. Artie understands that they have completely different problems, but they're both life-changing, and the two of them are bound to these problems for the remainder of their lives. But then, Artie senses that darkness, that bit of echo emanate from Cameron again, and he mentally recoils.
It's been a rough road, but we managed to find some stability at the end of last year. God, it's such a pain in the ass trying to settle on the night meds. That took Maria a few years, I think. Hey, Maria!
There's some rustling from the hallway, and a young leopard comes into the living room, Maria clearly having been very nearby in the hall.
Why'd you go?
Just wanted to give you guys some space. Oh my god, my feminine Hispanic accent is gonna be terrible. Just a forewarning. It's like, do you need extra voices for your reading? Not Maria. I'm not gonna be Maria. Just wanted to give you guys some space. We were just talking about how long it could take to adjust the meds. Maybe you can give him advice again? Oh, that's so cute! Ah! My mouse be off. Ah! God! We got a new character. Maria unlocked. Ah, they're cute. Smoochies. She leans in to give Arturo a kiss, and Arturo takes it without a single hint of embarrassment or annoyance. Another solid rock in Artie's life, and one that will stay until the end. While Cameron would normally never invade someone's mind like this, the coyote doubts he'll have many chances to do so again in the future, and he needs to know if Artie's on a good track or not. Maria turns to Cameron, and because they themselves have been friends for years, even a little longer than he's known Devon, he could tell that this is weirdly set up. Oh yeah, antidepressants, antipsychotics, mood stabilizers. It feels like I've been through almost all of them. Yeah, it makes me want to sleep all day, but also tear out my fur and crawl out my skin. Cameron likes Maria a lot, and just like Devon and Arturo, they slip back into the old swing of things. It's nice, but he can't help but notice how he's been swept out of the conversation with Arturo. Anyway, the main reason I went back to work this early is because I needed something normal. Sure, things are getting harder now. Stuttering, memory is shit. Can't really depend on the right side of my body anymore. But fuck, is it nice not being cooped up in here living on disability. But the only thing work has complained about is that I guess my inhibitions are a bit lower than they used to be. I swear I'm not trying to be a dick, but I haven't even noticed that. Oh yeah, they said something about too many words, too little tact, like 3 years ago, so I'm pretty sure that's just me. I can kinda tell it might not be affecting you now, but sometimes it's hard to tell the side effects from symptoms of psychosis, especially the residual negative symptoms. I mean, positive symptoms are obvious, but making your thoughts flow normally again, making yourself want to go back outside, talk to people, live, that tends to come back last, and sometimes it comes back a bit different. Sometimes doesn't come back at all. Now, while he tries to hold a conversation about psychotropic medications with Maria, he realizes how much things have changed. In fact, if Cameron's visions hold true, this will be one of the last of a handful of times he'll speak to Artie. It hurts. It leaves Cameron feeling a deep pit of guilt, shame, and even a little anger, but mostly because it's unfair. And he can't blame anyone. But as he watches his old friend laugh and talk to Dev, almost like what happened never happened. Cameron sees a long, solid friendship ahead of them, and he's happy for that. Cameron realizes, even without having to read minds, that Maria is specifically there to keep Cameron distracted, to keep him away from Arturo. That finally shuts up the psychic part of Cameron's brain. Rather than leaving a hollow feeling, he's left feeling like he's been punched. Why are they treating him like a monster? Like he's the one. Oh shit. The final thought he receives is from Maria, and deep down, under her concern for Cameron's diagnosis, she's wondering if he's prodding at Arturo's mind. Arturo can sense him. His own sensitivity is subtle, almost too understated to be picked up on, but it's there. And that's why he feels like Cameron is carrying Echo with him. Cameron is mainly worried that Arturo knows what he's doing right now, and his neck and cheeks become warm as he feels like he's been caught in the act. Maria mentions something about how she has tardive dyskinesia, and Cameron focuses back on their conversation, genuinely curious if it's gotten better for her with time. Sorry, I just had to pause with dyskinesia because I swear I've heard it, but I don't know what it was. I swear I remember, but anyway. And that's how the rest of the afternoon plays out. The reason he'll only see Arturo 2 or 3 more times in his life isn't because of Arturo or Maria. It's because Cameron knows he can't come back here and cause them stress like this. Cameron is no longer part of or welcome in their lives, and he won't impose himself again. Despite the hurt from learning their true feelings about him, Arturo's future is, if he has to sum it up, a happy one. March 2023? Hey, that is 3 months ago. Weird. Time continues on in its steady, unrelenting march, and it brings with it both good and bad. The pandemic falls into the background. Political instability comes to the forefront. Money becomes tighter. But the world keeps moving, as it tends to do. It still leaves Devin almost breathless at the idea that he's changed their lives in one weekend. While he has never really personally hated anyone to the point that he just wanted to hurt them, he does now. But that person is dead. He got the easy way out. For the first year, Devin wasn't sure how he'd continue his life. Cameron was either always sedated to the point of almost becoming unresponsive, or angry and sad to the point that he'd just sit in the bathroom and cry. The feeling of helplessness, of knowing that Cameron wanted to be dead, that he'd given up so much that he even told the bear he'd take opioids again if he could. And so Dev started doing things he didn't want to do, checking Cameron's drawers, pockets, and his side of the closet when he wasn't around. He's angry at the medical professionals who sent Cameron home because he simply had intrusive thoughts. This had relieved Cameron, though Devin was unsure. In fact, he knew it wasn't right, but Cameron was so happy, and it seemed to stop the episode. But then, over the next 2 days, he was in a deep psychotic state. His intrusive thoughts were actually thought insertions, and by the time they got back to the hospital, he was screaming that he was actually dead. He accused Devin of planting speakers in the walls and cameras in the mirrors, which he shattered. Over that first month, it was a normal sight to see Cameron sitting up in bed, brushing away non-existent bugs, completely unresponsive to anything Devin would say. But that's 2 years behind them now, and Cameron is finally starting to really live and become someone who seems to enjoy life again. Oh shit. Because while the positive symptoms of delusions, hallucinations, and depersonalization have been practically absent over the past year, the negative symptoms lingered. Devin had read about that over and over again. Lack of motivation, lack of interest in things that were once giving pleasure, lack of expressive emotions, and moments of confusion and disorganized thought. It was the anhedonia that scared Cameron the most. It scared Devin too, because what's a life worth living if you don't want to do the things you trained and aspired to do most of your life? Despite being able to listen to music again, Cameron decided a few months back to finally hang up his guitar. Cameron's paw is still weak, and it still has a slight tremor to it when he holds it up. But Cameron hadn't touched his keyboard either, leaving it unplugged and dusty in their basement. The sight made Devin far more sad than it did Cameron. He still wonders if he'd been more of an advocate for Cameron, maybe pushed for further observation. They could have stopped the psychosis before it truly spiraled. Maybe he'd be his old self. What's wrong? You reading my mind again? No, I can read your face. Devin doesn't want to bring down Cameron's mood. He's the one that wanted to come out and walk around in the snow, and if Cameron wants to do something engaging and active, Devin will do it with him. It is strange that they got so much of it in March, and it probably would be the last snowfall. I'm just realizing how out of shape I am. Do you think I'm starting to get a gut? Like, a bad one? Aren't you on the thinner side for a bear nearing 30? Yep, chat was right. They're almost 30. Cameron makes a point of looking at Devin's midsection. I was gonna say misdissection. Cameron makes a point of looking at Devin's midsection, then prods at it, making the bear huff. Well, It is kind of squishy. Devin blushes. Aww. You got me by surprise. And you got me done by saying I wasn't fat. You're not fat. You're a bear. I just didn't think I'd feel the punch through your coat. Cameron tries again, but as expected, Devin is tensed up and there's little squishing to be had this time. Let's sit down. Devin brushes snow off a bench for them. Hey, I hope I'm not annoying you. Devin closes his eyes in guilt, taking a deep breath. No, I'm just worried about different things. I'm happy to be out here walking with you. It's good for the gut anyway. God, they're just so adorable. This is the power couple we need in our lives. Cameron rolls his eyes as they sit down. I'm getting chubbier too, you know. It happens. And I love your body. If you want to fool around tonight, I can have a closer look. Cameron leans against Devin's shoulder. Only if I get to have a look at you too. Deal. And if we deem each other to be too chubby, we can go on a diet or something. Devin finds it strange that Cameron is the one usually cheering him up now. The coyote is worried about him, and Devin wishes he wouldn't be. Still, it makes him feel warm inside, and he leans in to nuzzle Cameron. As he kisses his coyote, he realizes that this is a good moment in his life. A day he'll look back on fondly. A day he'll look back on for comfort when harder days inevitably arrive. Devin glances up at the temple they're sitting across the street from. I always wondered what that golden dude with a stick is doing up there. It takes Cameron a few seconds to understand what Devin is talking about. The guy on the top of the Mormon temples? That's the angel Moroni, and he's holding a horn. He buried the golden plates. How'd you know that? Some Mormon friends told me. Oh. Cody, the bull? Yeah. You thinking about converting? No, don't! Don't! Dad, do whatever you want. Yeah, maybe if they ever become okay with this. Cameron leans close to Devin again. Devin smiles and they hold each other for a while. Something's on Cameron's mind, though, but Devin knows to wait until the canine is ready. Devin, did you ever find what you were looking for? Devin immediately knows what Cameron's referring to, and it makes his stomach twist into knots. I only bring it up this once, but I keep thinking about why we went to the first place. I just wonder if you were able to, figure stuff out. Devin stares down at Cameron, and even though the coyote isn't intentionally pointing out Devin's cascade of failures into catastrophic failure, he feels it. I figured out that it doesn't matter. It isn't worth finding out, and that I need to focus on us. Devin feels the sting of tears in his eyes, but forces it back. I figured out I make a huge mistake. It deeply hurt my friends. Brian hurt us. Cameron says it almost instantly. You just don't seem as happy or outgoing as you used to be. I know you're really busy with work and you just got your master's degree, which is so cool, but you seem...
Hey, it's like what you said. We change. It's not really a divide, right? It's like chapters in our lives. We change with each one, and the last one we went through was brutal.
Yeah, nothing stays the same. We don't fully recover or become who we used to be. And still, we always want to go back to how it used to be. Devin feels a deep twinge in his chest, thinking about what life would be like now if he just made the right turn. It's like how they say you can never go home again, because home just isn't a place, but it's people, and it's a certain time. And when it ends, it ends. You can never get it back.
Baby, I love you so much, and I know it sounds dumb as hell, but I can be your home. I'll be around as long as you want me to be, so you can always go home.
I always will. Sorry if I was sounding depressing. I honestly feel at home with you. You're the only home I've got. But you know what's weird? I sense a lot from that temple. And I've sensed in other spiritual places too. Like those Buddhist shrines in Huaxia town. And even those little shops where you see mediums and psychics. It feels like they're taking in energy and letting energy out too. Like a portal.
Huh. What do you think that means?
I guess that there's hope for everyone. Lupita, Artie, you and me. And that maybe instead of nothing, there's... Oh my god. Devin, overwhelmed with grief, happiness, love, and loss, kisses Cameron. They kiss for a long time, and Devin desperately hopes Cameron is right, because more than anything, he wants to start fresh again and do it right. For now, though, he's here with his husband, sitting and watching the snow fall silently, and that's okay. Because whether they disappear forever or go somewhere else, it'll be together. Devin feels a little hope reignite in his chest. There might be something. There might be nothing. But he's content to wait and find out. But that will be a long ways away, he's sure. Not until they're 110, after all. Round of applause. I'm sorry. Created and written by Howley. Sprite art and character design, Paint Fox. Music by Anthemics. Background art by Cardamon. Oh, it's anthemics. I'm like, that's why the music is. Illustrations, Paint Fox. Additional art by Paint Fox and Orion. Oh, didn't know Orion did some art too. Programming by Howley. Additional programming from Orion, Scar, and Watson. Oh yes, Watson. Splash and main menu animation from Gumdrop Studios. Sound effects, sound blocks. Special thanks to Zeke, Red, and McSkinny. Great creators. Made with the made with visual novel engine Ren'Py. Sorry, it's just funny to think. Echo Project. Thank you to all our patrons and everyone who made this project possible. Arches. I think I'm supposed to hit enter. Or am I? Yeah, I think I just let it go. Whoa! Holy shit! They left! No! That is crazy! They did that as a persistent. I don't think I'll ever be able to change it back. Unless maybe I play through a past route and then go to the main menu. I'll have to figure that out. But hold on, let me just type in the credits part, because those credits are great. And it was just under 2 hours, but all of it was worth it. Wow. Well, now I can unpin the no spoilers message. We have played everything. We've been there, we've done it all. And I am not crying, you are. Oh boy. It is empty, isn't it crazy? You used to have Devin and Cameron walking there. I think can I open up version 0.8 and show the difference? 8.1. I hope it doesn't break anything. Will we get two arches at the same time? I'm gonna see. Uh-oh. Yeah, the old one still has it, because I technically did not play it on this old save. So if you want to see for comparison, I'll quickly just switch over the screen. This is Arches 0.8. Nope, this is 0.81. And this is 0.8. So that is the 0.8 version that I just opened up and did not play this in. And now we go back here. That's the one that we just played it in. I don't know if they had any like bug fixes, quality of life, but a dev. What? What do you mean a dev? What happened? It is the Fox of Paint. Ah! Oh my god. You're killing me. Ah, god. You did such a killing on those seed illustrations, and yeah, it's the sprites too, but they did not show up in this update, so you did killing on everything. My god. I was not crying. You were. Ah, man, great to see you again. How have you been? Haven't talked in a while. Oh no, I hope we don't grow distant. Don't want to pull an Arturo. Oh god. Once you log back into it, you'll be able to get Cam and Dev back. Well, try that out. I said quit, dang it. Okay, here we go. 0.81 again. There we go. So, reopened it, and yeah. Thank you all. I don't know, though. I feel like it was fitting to have that end page. Anything else to do? Well, at least not for this stream. This particular Arches stream. If there is any, like, epilogue other story stuff, then maybe? I don't know. I feel like this is the perfect place to end it, though. Been good on a post-Arches vacation. Nice, nice. We might drop a 1.0 with a little extra side story. Nice. That's what I was thinking, like, maybe kind of referring to. Oh, it could be like one of those episodes, you know, where they, like, 6 months after, like, a reality show or, like, a game show or something, where it's like, where are the contestants now, or whatever, you know. Or not just reality shows even, but where it's, like, any show like that where it's, like, where have they been? And it's, like, 6 months, a year, or however long later, and then it's a reunion episode. That's what it's called. We could do, like, one of those reunion episodes once 1.0 comes out. But for now, this is the end of the series. This is crazy. And quite a great ride. I hope you've all been good. Yeah. Kind of my emotional ups and downs, like I mentioned at the start stream. But lately, I've been doing pretty good vibing. I've been starting to plan my own vacation for July, actually. I want to go up to the Pacific Northwest area. So Oregon, Washington, those states. I have some friends up in Oregon and then Washington. I want to see what that Seattle area is like. It looks very pretty. And I've never been to Seattle, so I'll probably get to check out the Space Needle and all that. Assuming I can afford the Uber to it. Thank you for streaming, Dirk. Love your voice. Aw, you're too kind. But yeah, I hope to see you again with whoever Paint. I forgot. Do you stream? Like, do you stream on Twitch or Picardo if you do? Because I swear I've seen you like stream once or twice and I've joined or, well, watched in chat. Never been on call, I don't think. Unless my memory is fading. Yeah, it was such a roller coaster. I have to... Why am I acting like I have to precursor this? I'm saying it. Hallie does the best job with endings and epilogues like this. In my experience, this isn't a, oh, this is an A, S, whatever tier. No, I'm saying, like, in terms of... Maybe I should just leave it in its own category of things, not compare, but I'm just saying that Hallie does a killing with these endings. Like, you get every emotion so perfectly, like, not unraveled. I'm so bad with words, but it captures every emotion so well, and it feels so right. It's not just a, oh, they all live happily ever after, there we go, the end. There's depth in these endings. Like, there's more to it. There's still some sort of unsureness. There's some stabilities, but you just know things are different, like they said. I got the same feeling when Echo finished. Even Adastra, I was like, yeah, sure, it was like a different type of story, but the ending still felt satisfying. This is satisfying, and satisfying doesn't mean everything's all good, happy, hunky-dory. Like, obviously, at the end of Adastra, I guess spoilers, that you leave Amicus for a few years. So you're like, that's really sad and all, but, you know, but at least it felt right in the conclusion of it. Is very well executed. And that's the feeling I got here. Kind of like with Echo and how Chase seemed to change and, you know, be different. Oh, you've been on vacation too, Victor. Awesome. This is Howley's best work to me, in my opinion. I have to say, I think Arches is better than Echo. Then again, it's kind of hard to compare a one-route linear story to something with 5 routes. But I'd say in terms of my terms of enjoyment, I'd say, yeah. In terms of, yeah, just enjoyment or appreciation of the story, I'd say, yeah, for sure, Arches. Obviously, Echo has the depth and was the thing that started everything. But I just, yeah, feel like I enjoyed Arches the most, and I guess in terms of story, liked it more. It's been fun listening to your streams. Ah! You're too kind. I'm sorry. Just seeing a creator in my, like, chats or whatever, it always gets me. Like, I am projecting your work, and sorry. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the listening and whatnot. I hope I have brought a nice aspect to it, a nice, enriching of the media. Yeah. Nothing stays the same. Exactly. That I like the personally for me, I have like so many of those things with the mental health situation of the psychosis and not knowing what's beyond and things not being the same with your hobbies in the past. Especially with it being the timing of the pandemic. Literally all of that, well, I should say all. Literally that type of stuff was happening to me. I started losing my interest in volleyball. I started just having more of my driftings, like you may have seen me, my ups and downs. But at the same time, I felt changed in some good ways too. But yeah, but definitely the psychosis of, what is this going to do for me? There's the initial stress. But knowing to get through that rocky turmoil, big thing. I remember my first year-ish on, psychotic. Is it psychotic? But, anti-anxiety, depression, like those types of meds. Having a psychologist, prescribe. No, psychiatrist, sorry. Psychologist I talked to, around that time, too. But, yeah, I started seeing a psychiatrist right around when I was finishing up playing volleyball, not professionally, competitively. And started, initially it was really tough in that new environment. Everything was different. And yeah, it felt like, was it worth it? Now I'm like, it's better, but not, nothing's going to be perfect. You're going to have those positive, negative symptoms. And positive and negative symptoms, I wasn't sure if they were mentioning it this way, but I think this is the correct way in that positive symptoms aren't always good symptoms. It means positive symptoms are the presence of something, like having hallucinations, having the mania, having the twitch, the ticking, and all that. Negative symptoms are like the lack of things, like a lack of happiness, a lack of thought or motivation, like a loss of memory. Like that's what I learned in biopsych was, positive versus negative symptom. Doesn't mean good versus bad, because there's positive reward versus negative. Where it's like negative, you don't get something if the task or whatever is done, versus positive where you do get something. Or no, negative is like, oh, you fail and you lose this. Positive is you do it and you get this. Or am I thinking of it right? Yeah, negative is like you lose something, I think. But yeah, basically, something along those lines. Yeah, Cameron's very relatable in that. Slow Panda, stop. That is not true. Your last comment is not true. Oh boy, finals. Wow, already. Boy, yeah. That's gonna be fun though, Victor. Great to hear. I got insane brain rot from Echo. It's still my favorite novel so far. Yeah, I just say the whole series as a package is my favorite. Like, Echo is still up there for me. Yeah, it's just that when I compare it to Arches, I have to give the favor to Arches. Not saying Echo's bad. Obviously, I hate the characters in Echo, but in the right ways. Yup, you just want to punch all of them. Fuck. So I'm like trying to catch up with messages. I haven't had this many messages in a while when I've streamed. Am I missing anything? Yeah, short story. But yeah, what a ride. I think that's everything. Echo was scary. Got wrenching in a different way. Or different level, yeah. Soundtrack, soothing the mood. Indeed. Slow Panda is promoting slander, and I need to sue him for that. Ah! Gosh. No, Green Saven, I truly do not. Maybe. I have a link tree which links everything. You saw the Easter egg hidden story, right? Was that the thing with Devin working out and Cameron being like the... where it's like an alternate as if Cameron did not make it? Is that the hidden Easter egg? Or was it just like a visual Easter egg that I missed? But yeah, Green Saven, I think everything is on my link tree if you want all the media. The social medias of mine. I need to make sure I have the right login. Nope, the one with Cam. It's not the main story. Which one, though? That's the problem. Is it... If only this was Twitch. I mean, I think it will still go off. If anything happens. It's not connected to my Mix It Up. The throne redeem noise. Oh, the exclamation throne. Alright. Fine. I'll do it for you. I don't know why. The site can't be reached. That was trying to get Linktree up. There we go. Throne works. Yep, that's the one. Do not do anything I wouldn't, chat. Oh, wow. You gotta... Wait, what? Ah! What the? What? Hold on. They can't touch you. They can't hurt you. At least not in the physical way. Holy shit. I did not expect that. I have to put that in. Mentally, it's a different story, which makes sense because all of this is mental. I was messed up way before the thing that I saw in the trailer, which might explain why I saw it. But it was me continuing to see it that traumatized me. I never knew when I was going home to an empty trailer or a trailer with a raincoat monster inside. Eventually, I was able to realize that it didn't really notice me. I guess. The first time, it definitely wanted to make its presence known to me. These days, it just kind of pops up every now and then. And it's just really a cardboard cutout from a horror movie. Or a cardboard cut of a spooky character from a horror movie. Yeah, it's still startling when it's at the foot of your bed at 2 a.m., but you learn to live with it. Soon, the cardboard raincoat monster with claws became a man who would walk around our kitchen. He was angry, cursing, throwing stuff around, but I was okay with all of it, because he never noticed me. I couldn't say the same about the next thing, though, and that was another flat-faced creature, but this one moved around on all fours with its elbows and legs at an angle like a spider. He would crawl into my bed, over my face, and whisper things at me. That's when it really became hard, and things finally broke down after the first time I tried ketamine. For most of my teenage years, I was a weed and opioid kind of guy. Not like heroin or anything, but a pill every now and then to go with the weed so I could really chill. My friend, well, he loved stuff that was a bit more intense. Stuff that really made you feel something. Or nothing at all. Which is what he promised me before I took it. You'll feel nothing but calm. And then, while I was sitting in my friend's living room, a bear broke through the window. He had on a ski mask. He had a gun, and I screamed, and I ran, and I called 911. And of course, it wasn't real. I was so out of it, actually, that I thought I was watching someone else do all of that. I'm not friends with that guy anymore, but it was a turning point for me. I knew drugs made these hallucinations worse. I knew that the longer I stayed in one place, the more they appeared. And I knew they weren't real. I knew because why was there a creature with foot-long claws and a raincoat that stood 10 feet tall? Well, I'm going to bet such a thing never existed in that trailer. I'm going to bet nothing like it ever existed at all. I created it, and it follows me, and I ignore it, even though it's starting to get weirdly insistent. Oh shit. October 2019. Oh my god, we're getting a flashback. Holy shit. Oh. Okay! Guess what, folks? Where is it? I can't find it! Chat, no! Shield your eyes. I am going to get canceled. For now. Ow! There it is. I hate it here. Fan service. I'm probably going to have to read this part on the Patreon. Ah! No, you're fine, Pate. This might be a special perk. Silly Pate. I could read it until it gets too spicy. You alright, babe? Dev somehow already had his shirt off. Uh-huh. Look here. Oh, man. Pate Fox is doing a little trolling. Oh, man. Well, I guess this is something to read on your own. Or, fine, fuck it. I'll just keep going. But yes, Dev somehow already has his shirt off.
Little eager, huh?
I don't answer the question as I slide my shirt over my head and immediately Dev's paws go to feeling out my sides. So I think the plan is, for now, let's do that. I'm a genius. It is PG-13. No, PG. Is it PG or PG-13 would this be? But he is a little buzzed, so I don't think this is really going anywhere. He just wanted to get away from the party. We wandered around the little forest next to the house. Dev was looking for orbs or something. It started raining, so we ran to the car and decided to wait for Jason to come out so we could leave. Hopefully soon, because this thing, it stands outside the window. It's aware of us. I don't like that, even to this day.
Is there someone out there or something?
Dev looks behind us, right at the creature, and a chill runs down my back as he stares face to face with it. It's grinning at him with its sharp teeth. It's stooped over deeply because it's too tall. But, as usual, Dev doesn't react. That's because he's normal.
Are you seeing things again, Cam? Just because you told me it stopped doesn't mean it might not come back.
You'd really like that, wouldn't you? Nope, things are ghost-free.
Well, whatever you think they are. Are you seeing things again?
I sigh deeply. I mean, it never goes away. It's just better sometimes compared to other times. Dev rubs his bare arm, his big chest heaving, then shuddering as I run my paws up his pecs, squeezing them. Thank you for censoring for me, technically. Pretend nothing is happening at all.
I don't want you to get upset, but...
I close my eyes, waiting to be upset. He already knows I don't like him treating me because he already knows I don't like him treating me like I'm some psychic. I'm just a stupid kid that sees horrible, useless things.
But would you at least tell me if you see something that might be important to me?
I blink, thinking, then realize what, or rather who, he's talking about. Oh, well, yeah, of course I would. It's just that I don't really see people. Just things. And not good things. Dev has gone a bit quiet as I rub down his stomach, playing with the fur and the thick layers that come naturally to bears. Something I like. Something that I like. I feel weird doing this while waiting for our friend. I mean, it's our car, but we're both 25 and acted like we just can't wait. We gotta do this before we go home. Usually, Dev just liked to be intimate like this, where he could just feel me. But he only grunts as I tentatively open his fly. He doesn't stop me, so I keep going.
Well, you know I was supposed to visit Echo today, but Larry had some problems or whatever. So now we're at this shitty party, and it's gonna be months before I have a chance again.
Things that have aged poorly. I shrug, wanting to keep the conversation light. I've seen worse. Parties, I mean.
Next time, I'm not bringing Larry. It's just gonna be me and whoever else wants to go.
I nod for him to go on. Dev sighs in a frustrated way that has his chest expanding against me again. He pulls my paws from his crotch and he holds me, just pressing our bodies together.
Obviously, I want you to go. But I don't want you to feel like some kind of tool or something I'm just using. I think it could be a good experience for all of us.
I stare back at him. Didn't, like, 10 people die or something?
Well, not that, but how things will change if we see something.
And what does that mean?
That there's something more. There's something somewhere to go after we die.
I think hard, trying to choose my words carefully. But how do we know that? Seeing something doesn't really mean anything. I've learned that over time.
Just
Dev sighs, not really annoyed, just tired, probably having a hard time thinking straight on the alcohol.
I just need your help for a few days. I want to know. I need to know where she is.
Nowhere. She's dead, so she's nowhere. I'm sorry. I don't want to do this. It's such a bad idea, but this is important for Dev. It always has been. So, now that he's finally asking me to go, I can only say, of course. He grins and lets out a breath like he's relieved. I had no idea he was this tense about it, though I guess my reactions to previous comments about the town told him I wasn't exactly a fan of going. But I can stand a few days of discomfort if Dev finds his answer, which I really, really hope he does.
Thank you.
No problem, man. I try not to jump, because just as I said that, for the first time in my life, I see cardboard creature move. Oh, God.
Okay, that actually spooked me.
Please don't tell me it comes. I'm watching. What happens if I click on Devin? Let's see. Oh. Can I click on Dev's ass? I'm sorry. I am being lewd. Well, thanks, Payne Fox, for showing me that. 224.15, I think it was. Okay, end of reading for real. Devin does have some cake. Bear's cake. Cake. On the next build. Ah! That is so cool. That's going to be awesome. I'm thinking ahead. Okay. But that will probably be like the final build that we'll play. It's kind of like, what's the finals short story, but yeah, once again, thank you for showing me that. Great work today. Aw, thank you, Slow Panda. Always appreciate it. And thank you to everybody for coming. Totally did not expect that to happen. And if I click on him again, will it happen? Oh shit. I clicked on his ass. Okay. Can I like tab through this? Sorry about that. I legit clicked on his ass. You want to see the cursor, chat? Do you want to see me try again? Capture cursor. Will it show it? Can you see my cursor? Oh, there it is, yeah. I click on his ass. And it comes. I'm sorry, we're making too much light of this. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to turn off the cursor visibility now. There we go. For Pride Month! See? Even the censor bar. Pride Month! I'm probably going to move it downwards for other CGs that are full screen. There we go. Did Devin agree on that? Devin probably came up with the idea. 2 devs in 1 stream. Wait, what? Excuse me? What? Where? Who? Hey, you should be... Oh! Is it the Onion I see? Hello, Onion. Also, nice work on helping with the code and other stuff. I miscredited you for the, like, GUI interface that Gumdrop Studios did, but cool that you did some of the coding and stuff for this. Orion is also amazing and has worked on Remember the Flowers, if I recall correctly. And I think you've done some of the art for it, if I'm not wrong. So yes. I can't do shoutouts on YouTube. The Twitter is Aluminum Siren, I think that's how you spell it. I miss working on arches. Aw. God. Y'all are so great with that, though. It will be a bummer to miss out, though, but now it's pretty much done. God. This is just so weird. Oh, I forgot. Paint Fox is, like, European time-ish, right? So, you should be asleep. Bad. All my Europeans should be not awake. Are people giving hearts? I don't know what this does. What are these icons? Why am I such a boomer? But yeah. I'm glad you two got to collaborate. Wait a minute. I swear to God you guys did something like Picard or like a collab stream. It was like you, Orion. Was it Horror Buds too? There was like 4 of you, I swear. East Coast, so it's 2 a.m. for me. Yeah, it's almost 11 for me, so this was like a perfect night stream to do. Didn't know if it was going to be too long of a stream, so... Yeah, this was nice, quaint. A heart appeared. I don't know what it means. We did art streams with Kosen. Yes. Oh, and I do remember the art of you doing the mugshot. That was a good one. The mugshot with you 3 or 4. I'm sorry, I'm just like... what was it? I'm fangirling out about things I remember from like a year or 2 ago. The hearts... I don't know what the hearts mean. Did I win? I win YouTube. I won YouTube. Help. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the finale of Arches. So good. Exactly. I fucking... Emotions. Too many goddamn emotions. I have all these 7 different emotions, and all of them have been used today. Let's just say that. And yeah, I did such a good job. Yeah, even though I may have done a good job, the applause deserves to go to those people, the creators, the coders, the 2 people in chat here that we just said hi to. and the many more. Howley, well, Gumdrop Studios we just mentioned. Oh God, Anthemix for the music, and everybody else I forgot. That last scene though. The last scene, it's like just so weird to see it like 3 years out and being like, it gets better, but there's just something different, but not in a. It's in a growing way too. People change. Muse music, yes. Anthemix or Mo, everybody knows him as. Bed. Oh, Kuru. Yeah, this whole novel has been so well built. So yes, round of applause to everybody once again. A tiny clap from me. Yep. You had to watch them suffer for 2 years. But yes, they are happy and relatively healthy. Such a great thing at the end. I don't know what these hearts mean. But yeah, I seriously appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I don't want to keep going in circles, but I have to end things here. So, once again, the links to the Echo Project Twitter and Itch are in the description. Well, the Arches Itch, but the Echo Project Twitter. So you could check them out and all the credits that they have listed there. So, that's going to be it for tonight. And I'm trying out a new outro, so I hope you guys like it. So, here it goes. Thank you all for entertaining me, and thank you all for letting me entertain you. Until next time, take care, folks.